guys, and welcome to a new video in the graphs and networks tutorial. In this video we will be discussing about subgraphs. So let's get on with it. So graph H x comma a is said to be a subgraph of graph G that is v comma e if x is a subset of v and a is a subset of e. So as usual, the notation is the same. So this is your number of vertices, your set of vertices, and this is your set of edges. So subgraphs are classified into two types. Either they can be induced or spanning subgraphs. So we'll go over them in detail. So first of all, let's talk about an induced subgraph. So you've got two graphs H, that is x comma a, and G is v comma e. Then H is a subgraph of G, is an induced subgraph if there is an edge E, u comma v, uv in your edge set E, then that edge should also be present in A. So in layman terms, deletion of vertex or vertices will result in your induced subgraph. Alright, so I find this a pretty neat way to remember the difference between induced and spanning, because the formal definition can get a bit confusing sometimes. So if you remember this note, that should be fine. So let's do an example. So say you've got a graph G on the left hand side as shown. It has 6 vertices, u1, u2, u3, u4, u5, u6, and all the edges are marked in red. So now to get an induced subgraph, I'll be deleting a vertex or vertices. So in this case, I'll be just deleting a vertex. So I'll be deleting, okay, let me use a different color. So I'll be deleting u5 here. So this vertex will be deleted. So an important point to observe here is that when a vertex is removed, the edge associated to that vertex is also removed. So if I remove vertex u5, that means that this edge and this edge connecting u5 u4 and u5 u1 also gets removed. All right, so you end up with your graph H as shown on the right hand side after removing u5. So that is your induced subgraph. Now the second type of subgraph is your spanning subgraph. So as usual, you've got your two graphs H, that is x comma a, and G is v comma e. Then H is a subgraph of G, and that is spanning if the number of vertices, to be more precise, this would be the number of vertices v of H equal to v of G, and your edge set of H is a subset of edge set of G. So again, in layman terms, this is a really neat way to remember a spanning subgraph. It is that deletion of edge or edges from a graph results in a spanning subgraph. So just to summarize quickly, in your induced subgraph, you removed your vertex, and in your spanning subgraph, you remove your edges, all right, doesn't really matter. So this is the basic difference between an induced and a spanning subgraph. So let's check out one example for a spanning subgraph as well. So say you've got a graph G on your left hand side. It has 5 vertices, u1, u2, u3, u4, u5. Those are marked in green, and the edges are all marked in red and labeled as e1, e2, e3, e4, e5, e6, e7. Now as we saw that in spanning subgraphs, you remove an edge or an edges. So let's say I'll remove e6. So after removing e6, I'll get this graph H as shown on the right hand side, which is my spanning subgraph, as I've removed an edge and the number of vertices in G and H are same. You can check that. Right, so I hope this is clear. Now let's solve one question on spanning and induced subgraphs to make it more clear. So the question states that let capital V be the set of all your vertices labeled A, B, C, D, E, F, and capital E be the set of all your edges between those vertices mentioned, and the edge set is given by AB, AF, AD, BE, DE, and EF, and your graph is V comma E. So now your objective is to determine all the subgraphs of order and size both 4. So this is a graph G given here. So this is a graph G. Now observe carefully that order and size of G right now is 6, both of them, right? So we've got, our objective is to lower them down to 4 and 4, all right? So let's approach this by classifying our subgraphs first of all. they can either be spanning subgraph or induced. So let's first find out all the spanning subgraphs, if any, that are possible. So if you remember, the first condition for a spanning subgraph is that vertex of H should be equal to vertex of G, right? The number of vertices, to be precise. But if we see that if we find a subgraph H of order 4, that means that this condition is always false, right? Because we need a subgraph of order 4, but we are bound by the condition of a spanning subgraph that the vertices should remain same. So we've arrived at a contradiction. That means that there are no spanning subgraphs possible. All right, I hope this is clear. Now let us list down all the induced subgraphs, if at all they are possible. So for induced, we remove a vertex or vertices, right? Remove vertex or vertices. Now we have 6 vertices present currently, and we need to lower them down to 4. So as we lower the number of vertices down to 4, we also have to make sure that the number of edges also get lowered from 6 to 4. Now if you see carefully, when removing a vertex, if you remember that above the note that I had shown above, when you remove a vertex, all the edges associated with that particular vertex also gets removed, right? So if we somehow remove 2 vertices, so if we remove 2 vertices whose degree sum add up to 2, then we're done. Because if we do this, you will be getting rid of 2 vertices and 2 edges, because the degree sum should add up to 2. So listing down all the possible combinations for this, we have say C and B. So if you remove vertex C and remove vertex B from, so you remove this, so remove this from G, you have your one subgraph that satisfies our conditions. A second possible combination would be with the vertex C and vertex D. So removing this would also satisfy your conditions. And your third possible combination is your vertex C and your vertex F. So as we see here, we have now 3 possible induced subgraphs, right? And that's all. So to write down our answer, we have no spanning subgraph, and we have three induced subgraphs. And as you know, spanning and induced are mutually exclusive and completely exhaustive. So that means that there are no possible cases apart from this, and that means that in total we have 3 subgraphs of the required conditions possible. You can also list them down if you want, but take that as an exercise maybe. So that's it for this video. If you found it helpful or insightful in any way, please make sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel, share with all your friends. So yeah, that's it. I'll see you in the next video. Signing off. Bye bye.